Okay, we're at the bottom of page 3 on our 8.1 notes. So we just went over that first one. We just added the two functions together, but with 4 plugged in for all the x's, because that's what this notation means. Added all of them together and got 41. Now we're going to be dividing them, but with 3 plugged in. So this means f of 3 divided by g of 3. So f of 3 would be 3 squared plus 9. So that goes in the numerator. G of 3 would be 3 squared plus 2 times 3 minus 8. So 9 plus 9, 18. 9 plus 6, 15 minus 8, 7. And that's my answer. I don't have to do any restrictions because there aren't any x's now because we replaced it with 3. And then we can also evaluate compositions. Remember, this is f composed of g, or a composite function. So first we write it in our nested parenthesis way. So f parenthesis g parenthesis -1 close close. So just like always, this tells us go to the innermost parentheses first and do that. So this says go into G. Wherever you see an X, replace it with -1. So let's go up here. So G of -1, I'm going to make this small again. So G of -1 would mean go here and because we're plugging in a negative value, remember it does need to be in parentheses. So -1 squared plus 2 times -1 minus 8. So every x needs to be replaced with that. So when we work that out, we get 1 minus 2 minus 8. 1 minus 10 is -9. So now I replace this with -9, because isn't that the answer we got from working it out? So take g of -1 out, replace it with what it's equal to. So now it's saying, oh, now you need to go into f and evaluate it at -9, and that will be your answer. So we go up to f, -9 squared plus 9 would be 81 plus 9, 90. And that is my final answer. But see how we find one value, get the answer, then we plug it into the answer into the outer function. And that's why this is called a composition. So answer to the innermost, plug it in to replace it, and then evaluate the outer function at that value. Pretty fun stuff. You'll see on the next page. Ready? Let's go big again. And I think I put a couple of these on your final exam. That's my dog. Please ignore her. She doesn't want to be kicked out, so she's going to snore right beside me. Oh, sorry. If she gets really obnoxious, I'll send her out. So this means f of 5 plus g of 5. So go into f and replace every x with 5. So that looks like 5 squared minus 2 times 5 plus 3. And then we're going to add that to, this says go into G. Everywhere you see an X, replace it with 5. 5 squared minus 1. So this is 25 minus 10, 15, 16, 17, 18. Plus 25 minus 1, 24. And that gives us a grand total of what, 42? And if I was on a test, I would probably back that up with the calculator. So let's go ahead and do that. We can do it all in one step. So we take the parentheses, 5 squared, that's her again, 2 times 5 plus 3, close the parentheses, plus, open the parentheses, 5 squared minus 1, close the parentheses, boom, yes. Okay, one easy one down. Let's go to the next easy one. So this would be f of negative 2 divided by g of negative 2. So now we're replacing that 5 with negative 2. So go into f. Everywhere you see an x, plug in, negative 2. And remember, when you plug in a negative, it has to be in parentheses, because if you use your calculator, it'll give you the wrong answer if you don't have parentheses. So, get up here a little bit. So this would be negative 2 squared minus 2 times negative 2 plus 3. And I don't really care if you do it by hand or by calculator after you write this step, but you just need to make sure you do put it in parentheses, because if you don't, the calculator will give you the wrong answer. G of negative 2, again, I'm inputting a negative, so it must be in parentheses, negative 2 squared minus 1. I think this is easy enough, we can do it. So that's 4. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4, positive 3. So negative 2 times negative 2, 4. Negative 2 times negative 2, positive 4, plus 3. And then this will be 4 minus 1. So what is that? 8, 11 thirds. Ding, ding, ding. Done. Nice, huh? I told you these were fun and easy. Okay, now we're going to do a composition. Get my pages lined up. Super anal, sorry. I can't stand it when my pages get all messed up. Okay, I think we're going to have to do it small again because I keep going up, down, up, down. Okay, so on this next one, this is a composition symbol, so don't treat it like a multiplication. This is what multiplication looks like, a dot. This is a composition, so the first thing we do is what the example showed us, write it with nested parentheses, f of negative 1, close, close. So as we saw in the example, the whole reason we do this is so that we can do the nested parentheses first. So we do the innermost first. So this says go off to the side and figure out what f of negative 1 is. Okay, so you just take that piece, go off to the side, and get an answer. So that means everywhere I see x squared, this time I'm going to put in negative 1, or not x squared, x. So negative 1 squared minus 2 times negative 1 plus 3. So that is 1 plus 2 plus 3. So negative 1 times negative 1, 1. Negative 2 times negative 1, positive 2. So that's 5, 6. Okay, so this is the step you got to pay close attention to. I just figured out that f of negative 1 is 6. So then I go in here and I replace it with 6. And remember, we do this whenever there's a composition. I always tell students, think of it as substitution. Since these two are equal, I can take one out and substitute what is equal inside. So my last step is going to be find f of 6. And whatever I get for that, that's going to be my answer. So f of 6, go into the same equation, but this time we're going to put 6 in. So no parentheses needed, it's positive. So we get 6 squared minus 2 times 6 plus 3. So that's 36 minus 12 plus 3. So 6 times 6 minus 2 times 6 plus 3. So 24 plus 3 is 27. So that is the answer to my problem. So the first answer just gets plugged in to the outer function, and it's the second answer that is the answer to your problem, because this was plugged into f, so we're already done with that. So this is my final answer. I think these are so fun. I could do these all night, but I'm glad I don't have to. Okay, we have one more left, so this would be a good time. Shut off the video. See if you can do those two. Or actually, those one. Okay, so this means f of 0. It is not a composition, that's a multiplication, so times g of 0. Oh, I gave you guys an easy one. This one's too easy for you to practice on. So everywhere we see an x, we're going to put 0. So 0 squared minus 2 times 0 plus 3. So that's f of 0 times g of 0 is going to be 0 squared minus 1. So work each of those out and then multiply your answers. So 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 plus 3 is 3. So that will be 3 times 0 minus 1 is negative 1. So my answer is negative 3. So this one I didn't have to take the answer and plug it in because it wasn't a composition. Only compositions require that substitution step. Once you find the value of that, you substitute it in and then evaluate the outer function at that answer. This was just a plain everyday multiplication problem. 3 times negative 1, negative 3. And then you can also do this on the graph. And I think I put like maybe 3 of these on the test. So any of these on this page you can study. They're all pretty much the same. I mean, I know I put a composition and I know I put an addition or subtraction. And I know I put 1 or 2 graphs on it. So yeah, I would just write study at the top of the page because you know there's going to be at least 3 of them on your final. Maybe 2. I don't know, 2 or 3. This is even more fun. Oh my, I love this section. I don't know if we're going to have time to do all 4 of those, but I'll do the last ones if I need to on a separate video. So we have a minute and a half. So this was done in 092. So if you came from 092, you would have done this. This means whatever is in parentheses is your x. So let's do the curves in 2 different colors. So y is going to be red, and it's g of x. So red is g of x, because we have to know which function we're looking at. And let's do the other one in green. So this one is f of x, and I'm just writing what it says there. But let's just make them different colors so they're easy to tell apart. Okay. So this says when x is 2 on g, what's y? So I go to x is 2. I need to look only at g. So what's the y that goes with 2? Right there. Y would be negative 1. So hopefully you learned in previous classes, 09 or in high school, that when they give you this notation, they're giving you the x, and they want you to name the y that goes with it. So we have to find function g first, and then we say when x is 2, what's the y that goes with it? Negative 1. So we'll do the last three on the last video, okay? Because we're out of time.